Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Just have a wee look. Okay, so 5th of March. We've this morning, well, since we opened, I say this morning, since we opened, we look like we're having a couple of legs down. It was just a horrible day yesterday. I had no setup. Exponential, how you doing, bud? It was just a slow grind up, but there just wasn't really any setups. And I noticed Mac only marked 4 high probability setups. That one, which I earmarked, but obviously wasn't trading at the time. But it's just very tight and choppy. And then sort of last minute, we just had that, when I say last minute, just after I think I was there around about 7:30 UK time, we had that little push up and then that sort of drop before the market closed. It was just a hard day yesterday. But we get them sometimes, thankfully not that often. So we seem to have continued the pattern of down this morning. So we'll see how we get on anyway. So Indy, how you doing, buddy? So same sort of picture on the NQ. We got that leg down. We got a break. It's trying to make a new low. Whether it will or not, I don't know. We'll have to. Oh, that's looking pretty. Leg down. This looks like it's coming down to me. Just have to keep an eye on this. There is a second entry short there. We're getting very close to these lows, but we don't seem to be pushing down as strong as I thought, so I'm staying out of this. There is a higher low there, but we're under the EMA at the moment, and this could tank or it could push up. It's going a bit sideways there, so there's no trade for me there. Let's see if this does continue down. That's very tempting. Trouble is, we've got a lot of support along the top here, so although I think that is going to push up, that is concerning me going along into that. And that's a big no-no. Leg. This looks like it's continuing on down for me, so one, two, three. That's a triple test.
Order filled.
I'm going to take that because I think that's pretty good. Or have I got trapped? I may have done. We've made a new low. I'm going to get out of this, I think. That stitched me up. I'm going to get out for break even here. It may stitch me up here. I'm going to give that one extra tick. See if it helps me out. Oh, okay. I'm out anyway for break even. Oh, now it decides to go down. It was a triple test. 1, 2, 3. It is working, but when it came back like that, okay, so it would have worked. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's pushing down now. So okay, it's one of those things, isn't it? You knew it. We got this leg down there. We made one attempt, call this another attempt, call that another attempt, followed by a relatively bearish bar. It's obviously working, but the way it was just holding here, it's one of those things. Sometimes you're just best off getting out. So I had a bit of slippage there, actually. Slight bit of slippage there. We'll see anyway. Okay, so it's one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes if you're not sure, we'll get out. But we're clearly respecting this line here, so that clearly would have worked anyway. It's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, I kind of like the way we got a leg down. We got 1, 2, 3 attempts and then a drop So it obviously did work, but let's have a look. One tick. Oh no, I haven't got a slippage. Sorry, my mistake. I thought I'd go out for break even. Seems I lost a tick there. Let's have a look. On one of the accounts, there was a bit of slippage there. I think on one of the accounts, got out for break even, and the rest I lost a tick. Oh well, it is what it is. Let me have a look. Phil, morning. How you doing? Hey, Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Chris, how are you? Phil, I'm short. Are you? Yeah. It's just what I mean. It's clear respect in that line, isn't it? It's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes. Let me have a look at that. Yeah, I got out for break even, but you can see there that was the one contract. I lost a tick there and a tick there for some reason, but it happens sometimes. It happens. Trouble is, if I'm not sure about a trade, I just want to get out of it. So this now, let me have a look. That looks right. We're down and make a new low anyway. So got a leg and a leg. So that looks like it's going to push down there. So we're down the bottom here as well, down to that measured leg. So that would have worked nicely actually. But it's just one of those things. I mean, even if you'd have gone to here and then followed it down, there'd have been a nice few points there. There we go. It is what it is. So we do seem to be having a bigger channel here. Now I'm going to get rid of this at the minute. And I'm going to get rid of that. So there looks like a little bit of an overshoot here. So we've had that measured move as well. So two good legs down. Let's just keep an eye on that measured, that overshoot there. Or is it an overshoot? In fact, it's probably not actually. No, I'm all right with that being not an overshoot. We've got a touch in, a touch here. Or it could be. It's hard to say really. Just can't go short there. It's just too close to the bottom, way too risky. Possible second entry short, just too far from the EMA. I mean, it looks like it may come down on here, but on the NQ, but this is just way too far from the EMA. I don't think it's going to form anyway. Channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt. I prefer that to be a bit further up there if I was going to go short. That measured legs and been played out anyway. We're losing momentum on the NQ, I think. We've had quite a push down. Better be safe rather than sorry. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it did look nice, doesn't it? Just that last minute, the bar just didn't form right, but it's clearly one. I mean, you could call this area a second attempt and a third attempt, and it did what it was supposed to, but when it came back, you just think, maybe I've got trapped here. So it did work, but it's one of those ones that sometimes comes back and just spooks you a little bit. And that may be where, it's good to hold your nerve. But, a lot of times when I get out of trade, it does go on to win, but I'd sooner get out and not lose anything than possibly risk something, you know what I mean? So, okay, so we got a break of this channel. So we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Let's have a look at this. We just get an order ready.
Order submitted.
So we're going to channel down here, one attempt to go higher, second. So we got 2 pushes up and a break.
Order cancelled.
Okay, interesting. Let me see if there's a bigger channel here. There may be. It's possible. So I'm going to clean up this, see if we can't figure something else out here. So we got a touch, and a touch. I would suggest there may be a spike, or maybe even from here. Yeah, so we got a touch, 2 touches at the bottom. I kind of like that. So that for me looks okay. And here as well, I like this on the ES. Touching nice at the bottom. I expect to make a new low there, possibly a measured legs. If we get a lower high, so we got a leg back and a leg back. See if we can get a lower high.
Order submitted.
Come on, break above there. Push. Okay, so we've got a break above there. Let's see how this looks. So I like it. We got a leg down, 1, 2 legs up. This looks like it's coming down further. So quite a small risk. I don't like this. I don't like this. Something I don't like about that. That's gone quite a ways down and made a new low. I think that is a trap. I expect this to come back to the EMA, so that I do
Order
not like.
cancelled.
It may work, but we're so far from the EMA then, we've made a new low, so I expect a pullback. Now, whether it will or not, I don't know. But it's a very small bar. There we go. So that lower high was a trap. So that's another reason just to have this, because I bet you pound to a penny that there'll be some traders who got stuffed there. One, it's a bit close to here. I liked it because we got a leg down, but what we've also got is a very small overshoot there. So that overshoot and the fact that we'd already pushed right down and made a new low on the NQ kept me out of that trade. Did anybody take that, did they? The lower high, I get why you'd take it. But I think that's where it was a small bar C, so it didn't have to go far to get stuffed. But I lost a trade very similar to that. Wow, look at that. So it stopped you out and then came tumbling down. I lost a trade very similar to that a few months ago. It was very close. It looked the same. That trade popped into my head, so there was a bunch of reasons not to take that. We got a bit of volatility. In fact, we have got some news coming up soon, so let's not forget that. It's fitting quite nice in there, although it's a bit messy. But we made a new low by a tick there. So for me, it was just too late to go short. EMA's flat. Hey, Artie, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, EMA's, it does. When it starts to sideways out, it gets flat. And it did there, and then we dropped again. I just, yeah, it's just something about that I didn't like. I took a trade very similar to that. And it didn't work. So the fact that this was down here is another good reason not to take it. So I'm not sure I like that big channel in all fairness. Maybe it is, it just doesn't seem to look right. But look, we've had this channel down here, we've had a break, we've had one leg up, two legs up, and then we got two pushes down to a new low. We're very close to this measured move. Whether we'll hit it or not, who knows. Three, a few ticks away from it. You got one win for 330. Good on you, Phil. And one for break even. Yeah. So we're at that measured move now. Right on it. So a lot of times we'll bounce there, and it's uncanny really. In fact, that actually can go down a tiny fraction, maybe up a bit. Right on it, right on it, right on it. Right to it, look at that. Still blows my mind sometimes how damn accurate these things can be. Okay, let's not forget this news. Computer set a timer for 2:55 p.m.
How long should I set the timer for?
Till 2:55 p.m. No. Computer set a timer for 2:55 p.m.
Alarm set for 2:55 p.m.
Thank you. Yeah, just I can't take that. We're close to the bottom of this, and we're below that measured move, so I can't take that. Has the open been slow in the pack? Yeah, very slow. Well, what I'll say, see, is when you get days sideways like this, it's hard to trade this, so there's less volume going through it, which is why we're really slow up to like 7 o'clock UK time, and that's hardly anything, that is. But obviously, when it's going down, it's a lot easier. Well, it's relatively easy to trade, but we've had some really strong moves up lately, so I'd expect a bit of a pullback. There does seem to be more volume. People will hold on to trades a bit more and maybe add to them, which tends to, squeeze it down a little bit. I mean, this could just keep going. The trouble is, with us, I mean, literally, we made that measured move. That's played out. Measured move, and we've come down. Look at that. Right, I didn't move that line. That's where it closed, right on that line. So it's not me who's got it's not just me who's got my trend channel there. So that isn't a place to go short, really, is it? If you still think this market's going down, you want to be getting up here somewhere. So it makes sense that would push up from there. So we've had that channel down, we've had a break, and we've had a couple of pushes down to a new low. So whether that's something in itself, let's have a look. I'm not sure. You get better moves at 8 p.m. UK time. Yeah, do you know what? I often thought about, once I start getting a bit more money coming in, and just I want to start as well at some point in building up my own account. Just put a couple of $1,000 in it, and what I might do is have like a normal sort of day session, which I trade now for 3 hours, and then maybe take an hour off for dinner in the evening, and then maybe come back for an hour or two later on. Obviously, I mean, I tend to finish around about 5:30 UK time, which is only 12:30 New York time, so it's only really half the day, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I forgot to put up. Put those up. So I keep thinking we're 2:50 UK time, but it's only sort of 10 to 10 on the East Coast. So when I finish, there's still plenty of the day left. And I was having a chat with Daniel night before last, and he said he was struggling to get about anywhere, over 5 trades a week. Seemed to be averaging a trade a day. So, I did wonder whether it may be worth, maybe coming back for an hour and a half in the evening. See if we can get a lower high. We've got 2 legs up. The trouble is, at any point, this could go up to here and retest this. So I don't like going short, although it does seem to be working in that bottom tier. But the trouble is, it's just a first entry, that is, so there's nothing I can do. And this, to me, looks more sideways. I wouldn't want to trade that anywhere past that, the lower the day, which is here. It does look a bit sideways, so it's not filling me full of confidence at the moment. This isn't. It's, we have got a trend down. It's clearly working with air, but it's messy, isn't it? It's not what I would call running smoothly. It's a little bit erratic. Yeah, see, unfortunately, it was just a first entry. I couldn't take that. I mean, although we're going down, you can get chopped up so easy when it's doing this. Yeah, the only one I can see that I may have taken is that one, but it was a big ass bar, and I wasn't here, unfortunately. So if you go a tick above it and a tick below it, it's like 5.5 points. Sod that. Okay, so we got this news coming up in 7 minutes, so I ain't interested in anything now. So Anybody see Bitcoin at all-time highs yesterday? I don't think it'd be long before it's pushing past $70,000. Unbelievable. Wow, in fact, we're up again today. We're about to cross yesterday's threshold. We're about $300 off 69,000. I wouldn't be shocked now if it's up nearly 4% again today, if that just smashes through $1,300 and we're at 70,000. I've got some Gala, it's down 3% today. I've got some H-bar, that's not doing too bad today, it's up 5%. I remember last year, was it the year before, I got sucked into this blooming Shiryu Inu crap. But that's doing okay at the moment. In the last 30 days, it's up 150%. So only about another 2,000% to get my money back. STC, formerly known as Saitama. I got stitched there as well. The trouble is, when you get into crypto for the first ever time, you end up following these so-called idiot gurus online saying, buy this, buy that. Computer stop. And you end up getting in and learning some valuable lessons. I probably lost about $2,000 last year. So, but you live and learn. Okay, so I wonder how far this is coming down. I just don't like it. This is a channel when it's trading so close to the bottom, because at any time it could just decide to pop up and come up to here. Whether it is that or not, I don't know. But what I do like is we have got 3 touches and we've also got 3 on the bottom. So that's what keeps me thinking that, you know, it certainly looks better on here. It doesn't visually look as well, but, you know, we've had that channel and we're clearly working off this midline. The trouble is, you want to be taking it up here, really, and following it down. Yeah, I know, what's it, Trader? He leaves his stream on, doesn't he? He goes away and has his dinner and leaves his stream running and comes back and trades. When I was talking to Dan the other night, he said he trades for around about 4 hours. But the trouble is, if we're struggling to get setups, you've got no choice really but maybe to put an extra hour in. You know, it's okay doing your time and getting nothing and then missing 2 setups later in the day. So it may be a case of starting to, maybe from next week, come back for another hour and a half later, later in the day. Okay, just in case nobody doesn't know, we've got this news coming up in around about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So just go careful. If you're on a trade or you're looking at something, just keep it in mind that how many times I've forgotten about this. Oh, incidentally, the new offer, 71% off and 3 days to pass. Unusual. Strange one that is. I can't see that being very popular, but there we go. I suppose the good thing is if you didn't manage to pass in 1 day, at least, you've only got 3 more days. Okay, news coming up in 1 minute. See, ordinarily I'd have been very tempted with that one there. My slight concern though is I just don't like what I'm seeing on the NQ. Struggled to get down a few times, so it could just decide to pop up. It hasn't really it hasn't triggered. It's a doji anyway, so that wouldn't have interested me. But okay. Okay, news coming up in about 10 seconds. Let's just give that time to settle. Okay, so we've had this channel and we've had a move up, so now, as we've had this relatively strong downtrend, I'm wondering whether we're going to recover a lot of that or whether we're now going to start moving up. You certainly could say this almost looks like it's bottoming. Okay, there is a lower high there. I'm not sure about that. Not a fan. I don't like that. It is losing a bit of momentum, so I think it's likely it's going to come down here, but I'm just not getting involved in that. I'm not sure whether we're going to come back a little bit and then start to move up. I mean, if we are bottoming, there's always that possibility that we could do that. So if we do trigger, you may bounce. Let's put that like that. So on the NQ, we've had that couple of pushes up. Let's see what's going on here. Getting towards this top. We're at it now, so let's see what happens. can move that up a bit. So we've got a touch. So far, that's okay. If we can get below that EMA, then I'd expect that to continue on down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nice touches there. 1, 2, 3 touches there. So as long as we don't push up and out of this little channel with a break and a new high, see if we can get a lower high below the EMA. And if that's the case, I think there's a chance then we could come down. You can see that there, support, resistance. So we need to get below there, in which case I wouldn't mind having a go. So far so good. We need a little bit of a pullback. That's looking quite positive. Kanan, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? I don't think that's a wider channel. Yeah, it would be nice, mate, wouldn't it? It has been mean lately. I don't quite know why. I can't work out why. Is it something to do with the algorithms? Just I don't move in the price, so then people wouldn't trade them, would they? So there's no setups, there's no trades. If there's no trades, there's no money to be made, really. There's less money to be made, so I don't know. I mean, I've got the 1,000. In fact, I've got the 1,000 tick chart above my head. Let me just have a look. Maybe change it to the 1,500 tick chart. I'm just trying to have a look and just seeing if that little bit of extra detail gives us, some settings, some trades. I think it might be a case later. What I might start doing in the evenings is go back over the day's price action on the 1,000 tick chart and the 1,500 tick chart, and just see if there'd have been more. Yeah, see, you don't know it's going to do that. I mean, a lot of times it does recover, but there's just no setups. You can't take that. There's no high or low there. It just drops, which is unfortunate. We're back down here, new lows again. So it does seem to be pretty bearish today. So It is frustrating. Sometimes the most bearish and bullish days are when you get your least setups. We had one the other day, didn't we? It just rocketed up all day, but there was just nothing. And I think that's probably one of the lowest I've seen Mac mark yesterday for high probability trades. To be honest with you, there was only one of them I'd have taken. The other three I wouldn't have done. It's easy to see them in hindsight, but in reality, it's just too risky. Thing is, if it continues like this, there's not a lot of setups. I think the only other option is to just start trying to get a few more points out of the setups. Look at that, it's just tanking. I mean, it's gone up there and it's gone down 5, 10, 15. It's gone down 18 points quickly. If you only knew that was going to happen. So we've come down to the bottom again. So I mean, every time it's coming from the top, you know, we come from the top to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom. So it is still working in this. It does seem like a bearish day. So if we can get a couple of legs up there, we've had a break of this. May have to look for something here. So that, in my opinion, fits really nice. Now, yeah, we've made a new low, but it doesn't mean it can't continue on down. This market is, and if the NQ does, then this will continue down. So trouble is, I don't like taking shorts after we've made a new low. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just does add a little bit more risk. But if it looks okay here, then I've got no issues with it. You can call that hidden second entry short. Way too far from the EMA for me. It may come tumbling down, but it's irrelevant. I can't take it. I'd like another leg up, really. Another leg up here, lower high here. I like the way, if you look at the NQ, we touch in on the midline there, on the midline there, on the midline there. So whenever it does get to that midline and the EMA does continue on down, I'd just like a lower high here. I mean, you'd have got 2 points out of that, but that's a million miles from the EMA. That is for too close for comfort, that. Okay, let's have another push up. I don't mind that if we can get 2 attempts and get very similar. Push. This is where you've got to be your most strict. It's very easy with very little setups yesterday. Very easy to get sucked into a bad setup, trying to squeeze it, and you end up getting stitched. There is a lower high there, just too far from the EMA. I wouldn't take it there. I wouldn't take that one, and I wouldn't take that one on the NQ. So I'm not getting involved here. Not only that, as we've broken out of there, made a new low, we've made 2 touches right on top of that line. Right on top of the channel. So we just could come up and have a couple of bounces on it and off we go, but I just can't get involved. Unfortunately. I really can't put my finger on why we're just not getting lower highs in the right area. I suppose it's got to be something to do with, I don't know how the markets are run, is it? I don't know. So, someone suggested in the forum that when you buy in evaluations, you can just pick a bunch of them and put them in a shopping cart or put them in a shopping basket and buy them all at once. A guy bought 20 and the bank thought there was some sort of fraud going on. Would be a nice idea, that, being able to buy him a bunch at a time. I can't see why you can't, because it's a pain in the arse trying to buy a load of them. Okay, there's no stopping this market. I just can't get involved there. It's just this. Even if I wanted to take that fairly, I mean, look at that. How can you take that? Look at the support along there, resistance along there. Look, we got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, 4 touch. I just can't go short there. One, it's uncomfortably far away from the EMA for me. I know sometimes in bearish markets it doesn't really make a difference, but it doesn't mean I can change my strategy. There's no way on God's earth I could take a trade from that far from below the EMA. And if it means I've got to watch the market drop 20 points below, and then so be it. I ain't got a problem with it. But I've got stuck in trades like this before when I've done this, especially after we've had a break and already made a new low. See how we're bouncing along there. You don't know whether it's just going to just torpedo up. So it's just nothing I can do there, unfortunately. It is a pain sometimes, but what can you do? You can only take what the market gives you at the moment. We know it's coming down, but it's similar to yesterday in a way. It's very tight and choppy. It's not flowing. And I know it's a pain. Sometimes you think I can't go short because look how close we are to these bottoms. And then you'll come back an hour later, it'll be down another 20 points. Sometimes you look at this, these charts and think it can't go any lower. Look how close to the bottom, and it just continues down. It's uncanny, really. So we had that sort of bit of news, slightly positive news, but then look, drop doesn't make a difference. That tells me it's a really bearish day today. If we had that reaction from the news and then it got swallowed up and some straight after, this is going to have a really big drop. Where could it go? There is some real support along there. So I would suggest somewhere down here. I mean, look at that. That fits pretty all right, that does. I mean, that's a nice fit, that. There's a two-tier channel there, clearly working tightly in there. We've had a break above it, straight down again. Multiple points of one contract. Yeah. I mean, I am. I've set myself a new project. I hear lots of people talking about order flow. I got a couple of trader friends who use it and swear by it, and a lot of people do. So it's going to be my little project to learn how to read it. And he tells me what it helps him do most of all is hold his trades for longer. The trouble is, we go for a flat 6 ticks or 2 points or 1 point or 1 to 1 or whatever you do, and that's it. And often market just continues down. The trouble, we don't really want to know what's going to happen in the next 10 or 15 minutes, do we? All we really want to do is know what's going to happen in the next sort of couple of minutes. Once our trade's played out, it doesn't really matter then. But on areas like this where you have this break, if we can get a higher low here, we'd probably still go for 2 points. But look at that market move back down. It's clearly a strong day. So I think the beauty of maybe having something like order flow is if you see strong continued selling, we don't know that, until the next bar breaks. But when it pushes down, you don't know then whether buyers are going to come back in and take it higher. But if you can see just strong sell orders in the market, I mean, I don't know how to read them, so I'm sort of commenting without knowing the full picture. But then maybe instead of just getting out after 2 points, you can run it down for maybe 4 points or even 6 points. I haven't got a target as such, but if you said to me, what would I like to achieve point-wise a week, it would be 5 points. Anything above 5 points, I'd be pleased with. Because trading 2 contracts, it would give me $2,000 per account, which is one hell of a nice living. So it would be useful just to put it on a spare chart that when you do take a trade, just to have a little peek at the order flow and just see if the trade you're in, if there's some strong sell orders within that trade or some strong selling within that trade, then maybe just hold on to it and take it down to the next swing and maybe follow it down like a runner. But obviously, without seeing something like order flow, it's, there's a certain amount of knowing, after we've got 2 legs up where it's going to go, but sometimes having the confidence to stay in it when we're not used to, we usually get out for a quick scalp. But it's going to be my project over the next couple of 3 weeks to start to learn how to use it. And then if it can help me get a little bit more out of a trade, then happy days. You've got to trade 3 trades to get 6 points. If you can get it in 1 trade, you've got, theoretically, if I'm looking for 5 points and I get 6 points or 5 points in a trade, I've got a week's worth of profits for me. So the trouble is, I hate taking trades. You can't take trades this far down, but there may be a little overshoot there. Whether it is or not is, I don't know, it's arguable. I mean, we still touch there, so I don't think it is. But the trouble is, I like to take my trades up here when you've got plenty of space. You get to something here, it may not come down that far. And I hate what I'm seeing now. $50.94 down here. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, this market doesn't look like it's ready to give up, does it? Trouble is, sometimes you watch it. When you sort of decide to get in, it ends up stitching you up. We're not far off 94 now, are we? We're at what, a couple of 3 points? 5 points? You just can't take anything at the moment. Can't take anything there. There's nothing here you can take. Oh, that was quick. Yeah, absolutely, Artie. I mean, you can clearly see it's coming down, but when's it going to turn? And I have a feeling that it is going to turn. I may be wrong, but you just get a feeling. Trouble is, from here, it hasn't even got back to the EMA enough for me to take a trade. And I know sometimes when we have these bearish days, or bullish days, it avoids the EMA for quite a while. I know Marco didn't take a trade. I think that's the first time I've ever seen Marco not mark one trade in a day. I like to try. That's how it works, Robin. I assure you. Whenever you see that, and I know inexperienced traders do this. I know because I've done it myself plenty of times. You see all this massive push down. I remember once, maybe it wasn't long after I started streaming. I started streaming a year and a few months ago. I saw this market just tanking down, and I just decided to sell. And it was almost an area like this, and all of a sudden it triggered me and went up, stopped me straight out. It's uncanny how it works. I didn't even come in at a setup. I just clicked sell because I thought I'm going to try and get some of this move, and that's the sort of stupid stuff you do. But my experience is if you take a stupid trade because you're greedy or you don't want to miss out, the market's got a way of punishing you for it. I kind of like the way it does it because it put me off doing it again. What you don't want is it to work a couple of times because you'll start to use it as part of your strategy then whenever you lose your patience. It takes a long time to get your patience up to the right level where you sort of see things start to work. But I'm really impressed with your patience. I'm impressed with them, mate, to be honest with you. Next week I am invested in GT. I believe it was a game changer for Nutty. Let me have a guess what that is. That is Guardian Angel. Is that Guardian Angel? Do you know what? I remember he started to use that, and I'd forgotten about it. Yeah, I think it's called Guardian Angel. It's an interesting bit of software, actually. But what I will say is I was looking at Nutty and his trading, and I thought he was a long way off. He didn't seem to have any type of a major strategy, and it's almost like he got into the market sort of feeling his way through. And then all of a sudden I know now it's not that, it's the fact that he was just taking crap trades or revenge trading like the rest of us. The trouble is, you guys have never seen me revenge trade. You may have seen me get into a crappy trade once or twice, but you've never seen me go out on all tilt. But I assure you I've done it. I think you know that anyway. But if you can get a bit of software that stops you doing that, because that's what ultimately destroys you. Once you get to the stage where you can trade okay, you'll win more than you'll lose and you'll start to make money. But because you still doubt yourself and because you still struggle a bit and because you decide to jump in a little bit, that's how we tend to end up on tilt. But if you can stop that happening, you tip the scales in your favour dramatically. Is it just called Guardian Angel or something? But what it basically is, it's a piece of software that you can go in and set parameters. So you could say, I want to trade between the hours of 9:30 and 12:30, and you can set it. And I believe it won't let you change it for like 12 hours or 24 hours or till the following day, really, when those urges and frustrations have decreased. I'm pretty sure you can set monetary values as well. So you could say, if I lose more than $500, it won't let you take another trade. So it's got lots of different settings like that you can tailor it, you know, exactly to your liking. It's almost like a hidden second entry short there. My issue is we're so close to this bottom, I just can't bring myself to go short. So I'm just going to stay out of this. But yeah, I believe it's invaluable. In fact, it did worry me in a sense that if a lot of people start to use this, there's going to be very few, God, in A-Trade, yeah, there's going to be very few blown accounts and Apex are going to struggle. So the trouble is, if you've got something, it's almost like having someone refusing to let you trade. Rhythmic has this, but it's, yeah, it is. I've tried it before, and then when I went on tilt, I just went back into it in about 5 seconds and deleted it. Yeah, I mean, how can you go short? How the hell can you go short there on that NQ like this? You can't. So I couldn't go short there. I do revenge trade all the time. Yeah, we all do, mate. I've slowly decreased because I have stopped some certain bad habits. I try to, I think one of the good things to do is figure out what your trigger is. And one of my biggest trigger was to decide to jump into the market quickly and have a go at something. Or I see the market going and I just click sell without giving it any thought. Or I think, or I'll just trade one of my accounts and I'll have a go at this rather than waiting for a decent setup. And then I blow one account and then more. So that was one of my triggers. So I've identified that and stopped it. So far, it's helping me. But if you are struggling, then I think that will be in about, I think it's about $300, isn't it? $350, which is a small price to pay, really. I mean, that's the price of, what, 3 PA accounts. You know, we all know how many we get through with those. So, yeah, look into that Guardian Angel Trader. I was quite amazed how many useful settings. I remember when I heard Nutty talking about it, I thought that is worth its weight in gold. And I did wonder with, I can't see Apex saying you can't use it. What's it got to do with them? But what I will say is it's going to save one hell of a lot of PAs blown, and it does concern me that Apex go, okay, we're going to have to put the price up or something like that. But I don't know whether it'll happen or not. Who knows? This thing just doesn't want to stop. Look at this. How can you get involved in there? Okay, so I'm guessing that maybe there's something bigger there. God, it's so hard to trade this. I hate it when it's so bearish. It just looks like it can't continue on down. Okay, so for me that is a clear overshoot. Touch, 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 touch. I mean, really, every time it got back to that EMA, if you just sold, you'd make money. Trouble is, you don't know that until it's happened. So this channel with a break, clearly a new low, and just kept on goddamn going. Look at that. I believe you have the skills, otherwise, yeah. I don't think it's a trading issue. I think when you've been trading a couple of years, I think you're good enough. The thing that lets you down a little bit is the discipline. Yeah, I agree. But it's the revenge trade is the real damaging bit. That's the. I can't ever remember blowing an account with taking genuine trades. I can't remember. In fact, I could go as far as to say I've never blown an account from just taking what I believe to be good quality setups. So it's going on tilt that's the problem. And if you can eliminate that, which I believe Guardian Angel can more or less do it for you. Once we've gone past the evening, And the next day, things are fine. Because that's when we always feel gutted and think, God, I'd do anything to have that measly $700 in my PA that I end up blowing. But, in the height of passions, shall we say, it doesn't always work that way. Trouble is, that's another reason I can't go short now because of this overshoot. It looks like an overshoot to me. So I would expect to move up, whether it will or not. Your guess is as good as mine, but we are touching nice there. So that to me is a clear overshoot, and I'm happy with how we're touching it on the bottom because we've touched 4 places on the top. Anyone else had an email about a free bit of merchandise? I've got a t-shirt on the way somewhere. It might be in the air about now. I did opt for a hoodie, but it said it was above the delivery costs. I suppose I was pushing my luck there, considering I'm in the UK. He did not know. Must not be a trader. To be fair, mate, I think it was just random. They wouldn't have picked individuals. They'd have just randomly picked a bunch of people. So I'm not thinking I'm anything special. But I did get about 5 emails, so I was just wondering whether to say, if as I've had 5 messages, can I have 5 items? Unfortunately, and if we get a setup here, I can't take it. Not after that overshoot. This is just so bearish. It scares me to get in. And then we've had this channel. Well, the mess as it is, it seems to fit. Then we got to break, then a new low, and it just doesn't seem to want to stop. But the trouble is now, I don't even like that downtrend there. That does look like an overshoot, so I think there's a good chance that could go off in that direction. Something like that, somewhere on the lines of that. I can't argue with that. So unfortunately, even if we get a nice second entry short here, I can't take it. As tempting as that is. And it is tempting, but it is just too far from the EMA again. Every other time we've been up here, if you'd have sold there, it would have worked. There, it would have worked. Even there and there, it would have worked. I just can't get in here. There's just something I don't like about it. It's a little bit further away this time, so for me, I just can't get in, and look, it keeps on going. It's frustrating. But that's an overshoot, so it may just come down and retest this, which it has. It's made a double bottom. So is it going to go like that? Still glad I didn't get in here. I think that's going to get stopped out personally, so that you wouldn't have got a point. It would have to push through. So because of that overshoot, we've come down there and made a matching low. So this is where I would expect a break. So if you did get in there, I think that's going to get stopped out. I hope I'm wrong. Okay, we made a new low by a tick there. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get in that. That's going up for me just a little bit, I think. We've made a bunch of attempts to go lower here. We have just by a tick, just there. There's that new low. So, mind you, this thing could just keep on coming down. That is telling me something. So, if you got into that trade there, I'd say that's going to get stopped out. But I may be wrong. I'll tell you now, there'll be people picking bottoms here, especially with this. Such a big initial push down. With an overshoot, why wouldn't you pick a bottom there? Okay, so if you took that trade there, you're still okay, but I don't think for long. It is a second entry short and a lower high, but it's just what, yeah, I thought as much. It's just way too far from that EMA, and especially with this overshoot, you just can't go short. There will be traders who've taken that, but we had to have a break here with this overshoot. It can't continue to come down that far without having a break. I'm not saying it won't continue down, but we need a break. So are we just going to make one attempt, two attempts, and then continue down? Who knows? So we got this channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Are we going to come down? It does look like it's bottoming, and it is an overshoot. I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, so that bullish bar is triggered and come down. Let's see whether it comes down below this. So it triggers that bearish bar. Let's have a look here. It's bounced again. So he made 1, 2, 3 attempts to push down. So, yeah, there we go again. I still have bike. That thing just doesn't want to stop. I mean, look how steep that is. Okay, we've had an overshoot, and in a lot of cases it will do that, make a new low before it rockets up. But is it going to do this? It's such a bearish day. Let's have a look. So we got a channel there. We get a lower higher. I don't think I can bring myself to go short here. I really don't. Okay, possible second entry short, lower high. There's something about this I don't like. I hope to God it doesn't finish bearish. see, we haven't closed above that EMA since around about 3 o'clock-ish, just after 3 o'clock UK time. So 3/4 of an hour. Look at it now. You're confusing the hell out of me. Another big bearish bar. Look, 3 attempts to push up, still bearish. Man, this thing doesn't want to stop. No setup here, unfortunately. Can you do? I'll be glad when this week's over. We're only into Tuesday. Tough day yesterday. No trades again yesterday. You know, considering we're having such a big move down, there's just nothing I could have taken there. As bearish as it is, I mean, the only one, the trouble is Mac Mark sometimes. Shares a -2%. Yeah. Crushing it. I mean, Mac will mark stuff like that. But how can you, in all honesty, we got a bit of sideways there and we push up. It's not a second entry. It's not really even a hidden second entry. It's not a failure. I mean, the only thing you could say is if it's off this area, but if there's no setup, I just can't take it. That's it. It's simple. It's black and white. If it's not a setting, I can't take it. I mean, you may have said maybe a failure there, but how can you go short into that? You can't. Nothing there. I can't see how you can take that. I suppose if you want to have a punt, maybe, but I can't take that. I've got to be straight as a die lately, I have. Lower high. I couldn't take that too far from the EMA. We're on 3/4 of a point, stopped you out. So this overshoot, I think, is still important. We have got a higher low there, and we do seem to be pushing above that EMA. If we close above that EMA, then I'd say I think there's a chance we're going to get a move up. And this, we've got like a little bull flag push up, sideways push up. I would suggest that I would expect maybe some more upward stuff. This looks to me like it's exhausted itself, I think. There'll be definitely people picking bottoms there. Try to set up just, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. So, I mean, in all fairness, touch. There is a small break. Whether you consider it or not, I don't know. But I've seen Mac marks very similar. Small breaks, 2 pushes down to a new low. Looks like it's likely going to go up. It still could come down. So we've got a leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. If it continues on up. But look at this. Yeah, you're not wrong, Chris. There's nothing you can do. Well, I say it's frustrating. It doesn't bother me anymore. You can only take what you can take, but I can't mess around anymore. I've given that up. I've just got to take what I say, that's it. But unfortunately, you can't. I mean, as tempted as that is, and I get it, I wouldn't really even call that a hidden second entry. I mean, is that just a cop out for let's just go for this one? It looks right. I don't know. I mean, the way the price is moving, every time it comes back to the top, it's coming down. And Mac will say that in a really strong trending day, it almost does it. So maybe you do take that. It might be worth the risk. But for me, I just can't do it. If it's not right, I just have to leave it. So look at this. Good God, look, it just... So leg and a leg, you may have traded that. In fact, I don't think that was a bad trade, actually. Trade it as a failed breakout. I mean, see that push up there? What happened? It jumped across, triggered, came straight down. So that might not have been a bad trade, actually. The bit that's making me unsure about trading short still is because of this. I don't like what I'm seeing. It's messy, it's sideways. I think that was the trade of the day so far. That was leg up, and a bearish bar. The fact that it triggered that one and came down really strong, that was the trade of the day. The bit that kept me out of it was just I don't like what I'm seeing here at the moment. But in hindsight, I think that was okay. So channel break, new low. So overshoot, 2 pushes down to new low. So now finally, are we going to get some upward stuff? I'm 6 out of 7 trades today. So walking away, you've took 6 trades, 7 trades, have you? God, it's hard going. See, technically that's played out now, but I couldn't bring myself to go long. Every time we come back up here, the thing decides to go down again. So that would be fighting the market, really. Trade the Nasdaq as well as it. Yeah. You know, I might start getting, in fact, I did for a while, getting oil up here and having a look at it. But the trouble is, if one's just not playing ball, what do? Sit here all week and hope you get a trade or two? I mean, if it gets that bad that the trades are dropping, you've got to do something else. I mean, we've got the skills to price action trade. I mean, sometimes if you're just not getting setups on one particular chart, then you look elsewhere. But price action works like price action. It shouldn't make a difference. On what you trade, should all work the same. I know Thomas Wade started putting, or he did. I haven't watched to the end on some of his latest videos, but he started putting the crude oil and the Nasdaq a chart at the end of the day. So I think he's probably looking, by the sounds of things. The trouble is, if we're struggling to find setup, you've got to do something as a trader, haven't you? So what are we doing now? We're going to trigger above that bullish bar and come down some more. God knows. That's all played out, so I can't go short at the moment. He still doesn't trade. No, I think he just looks at them, doesn't he? Does he just look at the charts, or does he just mark them out of prosperity? You know. Trouble is, every time it comes here, just looks for now. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I am starting to browse, because sometimes if you sit here all day and you have a couple of days a week where you don't find a trade, then it makes sense, doesn't it? If you've got the skills to trade price action, it shouldn't really matter. NQ is faster and lose here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the NQ. It's the point system just confuses the hell out of me. I know what 2 points is. I know how much 2 points is. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that bearish bar, that hidden second entry short now is triggered. So are we now going to push up? $20 a point, is it? Trouble is, there's so many more ticks in a smaller area, isn't there, than here? Trying to putting a tick above or below a signal bar is not that straightforward here, is it? I might have a look at oil. Yeah. I might have a look at oil, see what the point system's there. Something that's a little bit close in relation to the ES. Big stop, you're screwed. Yeah. You got to be confident you know what you're doing, really. I'm not used to trading this now. I understand how the points work. It's dead simple. 4 ticks in a point, points $50. It's straightforward, but it's a little bit more trickier. But I might have a look at all. But, like I say, you could trade the 1,000 tick chart, the 1,500 tick chart. Hell, you could trade the 3,000 tick chart and get, slow things down completely. Yeah, but I am going to take some time to learn order flow. So at least then, if I can get into a trade, 6 wins, 1 loss. You're braver than I am. If you can get into a trade, maybe on a day like this, then maybe if I don't know if you took something like that, you can get into it. If you're seeing lots of selling and aggressive selling, then you may hold on to that. I mean, if you got in there, normally we'd be in and out for 2 points, which is there. But look at that. I mean, theoretically, you could have got a lot more. Even if you can get 4 or 6 points, and get the equivalent of 3 trades profit. Order flow is the key. Yeah, so I keep hearing. Lots of people tell me order flow, since they started using order flow, they can just see what's going to happen when they take a setup, and they hold on to it for longer. I think that's the key. If there's less setups, you've got to try and maximise your profit to a degree. I'm just trying to find some suitable videos on YouTube that explain it and break it down. I'm just on the search for that, really. I know there's Trader Dale. He's got something. Use the DOM. You can get the DOM on here. I don't even know what that is. I know it shows current price, but does it show strength like what's it? I don't know. God knows. Okay, so what are we doing now? Are we finally pushing up or not? Depth of market, isn't it? Yeah, I know you can get it on here. If I got a lifetime license, I can send you the table if you want. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I know you can get it on here. You've got to have a lot. I've got the lifetime license, but I don't use that code because I use Ninja Traders. But it's so hard to trade this now. I wonder. Just may have to extend that bottom. I'll tell you what you can do. You can't post a link, strangely enough. But if you're, tell you what you can do. If any of you guys are in any of the Discord, you can do it there, or you could type the link. If you after my video here in the comments below, just type the link or something. For some reason, if you type a link, you can't do it. It won't like. I don't know why it won't allow you to do it. It's nothing to do with me. There is a lower high there. Well, not quite a lower high, but I just don't like any of this. Yeah, maybe just in the comments, just you could set up a Discord. I tried that before, mate. It was a bad idea. People were getting emails from weird gurus. I don't know enough about it to keep the security stuff. But if you search up the Traders Den, I'm in the Traders Den. You could put the link there. Let's have a look. Just have a look. Yeah, I'm also in the Traders Den one. There's one. You all about me, are you, Phil? Let me have a look. I don't even know where I am now. I'm just not very techy. I'm not very techy. I mean, if you just sign up to the Traders Den, I don't know how even to send you an invite. Or just try doing it. Just try posting the link in the comments. Not these comments, the comments after the video, after this video. What the hell are we doing now? Links are not allowed in the comments. Strange, isn't it? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get the Discord up here and get a link from it. Where is it? I've got it on my Mac at the moment because I've got that many bloody windows open. Let me see if I can post an invite on here. I don't know if I can or not. We'll see. There is a possible high or low there, but I just can't take this. It's just unclear. Could stitch you up. Issuing starting session. Oh, I don't know. I can't figure it out. It's so hard. See, the NQ is just continuing down and down and down, but it has gone a little bit stagnant here. I would suggest I had it there initially. So it looks like an overshoot, but it has come down, made a new low, and come down again and made a new low. And whenever we seem to push up, it just seems to come careering down again. But it's just so hard to trade. What can you do? This could do anything really. It could. I'd like to think after that overshoot we're going to push up. Trouble is, I think that's the key. So that to me looks like an overshoot. Cup of tea, yeah, that's going to be the case in a minute, I think. What I'm thinking is looking at the NQ here. We've come down relatively nice. We've got a touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here, and three nice touches at the bottom, and it's holding there and all of a sudden it's plummeted straight through that bottom. So that's an overshoot for me. In a lot of cases, we'll get a correction, sometimes a full out reversal, sometimes it'll come down and make another low before it goes. But so what I did then was drag this out a little bit, and you just don't know. Sometimes, as well as extending the top, you can extend the bottom as well. Because if it's bearish, sometimes even if you get an overshoot, we'll get a correction and it'll continue on down. But I don't know a direction at the moment. It's been bearish up to now, but it's going sideways. So for me, it's just not clear and unsafe to trade. There's no direction for me at the moment. This thing, well, I mean, I've looked at this coming from yesterday, and the reason I like that is because it kind of looks like a two-tiered channel, and we've had a couple of legs down. We come into this bottom tier, we've had a push up, break new high after the news, and then we continued on down, and we're still back here, so we're going a bit sideways. So whether that is a channel from yesterday or what, I don't know. I know Mac never talks about yesterday's channel wise, but I don't see why not, because it often works. Why wouldn't you? It's like saying on the daily, I can only go based on what I'm seeing today, but you go based on what you're seeing over the past week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But we've had this. It was almost like a bit of a break. Where was that break from? From there. So we came from there, and we had that break, and we had two pushes up to a new high. So it could come down and retest this support area here, or it could just absolutely come down, and that may, seeing yesterday, little sort of slightly bearish pin bar, we seem to be coming down. So whether we're going to come down further or not doesn't really tell us a great deal, but it makes sense that, I don't know. It's hard to trade at the moment, I thought this looked like was going up, then we've had that bearish bar which just popped out the top and then dropped straight back in. So okay, excuse me just for 1 minute, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. So regardless of whether you think there's a bigger channel, we've had a channel down there. We had two pushes up. I like that, but I think that was a pretty good trade. I think a few traders would take that. We got a channel down, two nice legs up. You could trade that as a fell breakout the range, and it worked beautifully. These, when you get a good setup of fell breakout, just by the next 4 bars in a row, just pushing straight down. If you can get these right. I was more focused on this mess on the NQ, not sure where we were going to go, which is why I left that. It's just a weird day. I mean, sometimes you sort of, when you see these sideways day, you sort of think, oh my God, it'd be nice to have a trending day. Then sometimes when you get one, it's very little opportunities, unfortunately. I mean, I do wonder sometimes whether this helps me or it keeps me out of trade, but I will say from experience, since I've used it, it's got me into more trades and saved me some bad trades, so it's definitely more beneficial. It just gives you that little bit more confidence. You're going to stay out, yeah. See, I wonder sometimes whether I'm a bit overcautious, but I'd rather err on the side of overcaution. But in all fairness, just, usually we just think about, the day now and yesterday's. And I think that's the first time I ever remember Marco never marking a trade for yesterday. It was just, there was one pre-market, pre-official open or unofficial open. But I wasn't the charts then. But it was a big ass bar. It was about 5.25 points. So that would have been a no-no anyway. Okay, so there is a lower high there. We've had a leg up, leg off. We're coming off this tops. There is a lower high, unfortunately. We're 2/3 of the way to the bottom of this little range. So there's unfortunately nothing there, but that, I mean, every time we come up, it seems so bearish, this long-term goal, one trade a day with tons of contracts. Yeah, I mean, you can always at some point later on down the line, you could extend up to 3 contracts. Yeah, I suppose you are having a little bit more risk, but if you're a good enough trader and you're trading over 90%, maybe trading an extra contract probably isn't the end of the world, and it will give you that little bit extra. But I probably tend to think I am going to make it a good effort to learn how to read order flow, because I think if I can get into a good setup, that might give me the equivalent of 2 or 3 lots of profit in one trade. So many times we see these trades and they just continue on, and we take a tiny amount of them, which is great. But if it's the case that we're getting 3 or 3 good trades a week, it's okay. But if you happen to miss an opportunity, then, you could be missing out a little bit. So I think sometimes if it's a very, very strong day and we get a good, strong setup, I mean, for instance, down here, if we'd have had a nice second entry short off here, good, strong position, you would expect that to push down, and it did. And rather than take 2 points out of that, you could have got out at 6 points and got 3 times the amount of profit. It worked well with Pats. Well, all order flow does, from what I mean, Pats really is just is a strategy to trade the market, and it's probably very similar to how a lot of other people, they wait for pullbacks. They wait for 2 attempts to go higher. But I think all it'll do is, if let's say I'm going short on a particular bar there, when I get into a trade, if with the order flow, it's looking very strong. I mean, there, you didn't necessarily know we're going to get these big, thick bars, these big 4 strong, bearish bars. But maybe on order flow, you'd have seen this, you'd have had a little bit of clarity that there was some strong selling. Then we don't know what's going to happen after that next bar. But if all of a sudden, as this bar comes down, sometimes you'll get a bearish bar like this. You'll think, yeah, that is selling. And then it'll trigger one tick and completely turn the other way. And I think that's where order flow comes into its own. You'll see there's still strong selling at the bottom of that bar. And that is a good indicator that we're going to continue down. So if I can maybe get twice the amount of profit on the odd occasion, or 3 times the amount of profit, that would, make up, potentially give you the profit of, a week's worth of profit in a trade. Based on, an average of 5 points profit in a week. It's just, I think you've always got to develop as a trader. You've always got to look for, add new strings to your bow and just keep up with things. And because if setups do get tougher and tougher, you've got to adapt or you're going to miss out. And I don't mean, completely swap your strategy. I just mean find better ways of maybe getting more out of a trade. ATR. See, all the ATR really does, it's the average true range. It just tells you the average size of a bar, really. So, it doesn't necessarily tell you if there's going to be a lot of selling. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. You know, I mean, the ATR, if it's up or is it down, does it mean, you know, sometimes when the ATR drops, you get lots of little bars and a strong trend, but the ATR's been floating just under 2, and considering we got a downtrend, it could completely be the other way. Is it possible institutions and well, I do believe there is a little bit of that, and I know when I started to look into Bookmap, you know, they said sometimes they'll put these orders there which will create potential liquidity that prices. I don't know really, but what I will say is any professional traders I tend to sort of read about, there's that Indian guy from the UK, I forget his name now, he uses order flow. And the other Asian guy that's from Dubai, he said he started to use normal bars like us, but he said he started to use order flow, and it was a game changer for him. So, you know, if you ever see these pictures or videos of professional traders, they do seem to the differences between them and us. They tend to use order flow. Now, maybe really with price action, you don't need it. You know, we trade based on price action and not necessarily that. The only reason that I would take an interest in that is to try and get a little bit more out of a move, because it does seem lately that the setups are few and far between. And, you know, if all of a sudden you're struggling to earn money or find setups, you've got to sort of adjust and adapt, haven't you? Adapt and overcome. So there is a higher low there. My slight issue with that, yes, we're going sideways, but this is such a bearish market. I wouldn't be surprised if it triggered and came down. So I can't really, as much as it looks like we're going sideways, that for me would still be a counter trend trade, and I just can't do it, unfortunately. How many contracts do you trade on evals? 2 evals. I tend to go a little bit more, 3 or 4. If you're just trading evals, one thing I started doing was to trade 4 and have 1 as a runner. But I would avoid 10 contracts. I've blown so many accounts trading 10 contracts. So I would say 3 or 4, something like that, I think. I don't mind trading them a little bit more aggressively. How you doing, Sean? Yeah, I trade them a little bit more aggressively. But I kind of like the idea. I tend to obviously vary. If I'm trading some along with some peer accounts, then I maybe stick to a straight 4. But if I'm trading them on their own, maybe 4 contracts with 1 runner, and then maybe just let your runner go and see if you can't, you know, grab a little bit. Yeah, I tell you, Artie, a lot of people are doing now. I know that Alpine guy mentioned it, is when they're cheap, maybe 90% off, you buy 2 and you go long for 6.25 points and short for 6.25 points at a news event. So where was that news? Where was that news? Where do we have that news? Where was the news here? Was it around about 3 o'clock? Oh, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. So, okay, so maybe here. So if you went long 6.5 points and short 6.25 points, that one pushed up, say from there. So we went up. You'd have been out there. My only slight concern with that one, we went up to the top, we came back down, so that may screw you. We came back. No, you'd have been okay. So you'd have passed that one by going along there. It wasn't quite as dramatic move as it could have been. Sometimes they can shoot quickly. And I know a few traders are doing it that way. Doing the news. And they pull the account. What, on an evaluation? I've never heard that, unless they've tried, doing something new. I've never heard that. There's no rule that says you can't trade the news in an evaluation. Not that I'm aware of. And they pull the account. They pulled it. What do you mean they pulled it? They cancelled the account. Strange. Yeah, you can. Like I said, you can, but you'll most likely tank the account. Yeah, so I mean, if it pushed through, yeah, just like a blown account the other way, yeah. I mean, yeah. What I'm saying is, I mean, if you have two of them, if you want to pass, when they have the 1 day pass, if you have two accounts and you go long on one for 6.25 points and long on the other, that covers your commissions, and long on the other, then usually one of them you'll pass. And if it's only, maybe $15 a go, it's cost you $30 and you've guaranteed a pass. So I've not done it myself, but I know, what's it mentioned it the other day, the Alpine trader guy. And I've heard people mention it once or twice before. That was an eval. Yeah, I'm guessing you may have hit your... I don't know how that would have worked, but you can definitely do it. God, this is so hard going. Okay, break out the top, break out the bottom, another breakout. This, is it going towards the top of this now? We shall see. So if that was a better bar, that might not have been a bad trade. I just can't counter trend trade. It's just, I can't do it. If it went against me, I'd kick myself. So we've had a break out the bottom and a break out the top, leg and a leg. We've touched here multiple times. We know it's quite a bearish day. So the only reason I may be able to take a short is with a lower high, but at the moment with this channel, this short-term trend channel going up towards the top of this channel, I want to know what's going on first, because this could be bottoming. Initially I had that channel pushed up here, In fact, I'm going to put it back because if that is an overshoot, that might be a reason, and it could reverse. So whether it will or not, whether we end up getting a bit of a pull back at the top, we end up getting something like that. It's always possible. So I'm just staying out of any possible shorts here or whatever. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't go short here at the moment, so I can't go short here on the ES. Yeah, it did work, but I just it's just a bit risky at the moment because we've had such a strong move down, and on the NQ we've touched a couple of times there. That to me looks like an overshoot, so this could be where we reverse. So I just can't take trades like that. As much as they may work, it's irrelevant really. And the way that's sort of dropped down and retraced a little bit and closed above the EMA with that bit of a stem tells me, we could be moving up. But I'm just unsure at the moment, so it's just there's nothing I could do. Let's see what happens here. I'm more interested in what happens when we get to the top of this channel, how it reacts there. Bitcoin's had a bit of a pullback, quite a bit of a pullback. It's gone down from 68 to 65. I suppose it was inevitable. I expect that to bounce. It's just coming into support, so I expect it to bounce there. There's quite a bit of support around there, just around about the 65 level. That's fine, I don't mind that. A little bit of sideways and then up to above 70,000. Okay, so let's see. We're going a bit of sideways here after this overshoot. What looks like an overshoot to me anyway. So let's see whether we are going to push up to the top or indeed whether we're going to push out here. So I think it worked for 2 points that, but just risky as balls in let's have a look. No, it'd have had to push through, so you'd have got 6 ticks off that. But the way it turned and closed above tells me I think we're going up a little bit. This could be bottoming for sure. This, or it could just be a leg and a leg, and then maybe down some more. I don't know. So I marked that at yesterday's high And part of the reason I did it is because it kind of fits. We've got a touch here, touch here. It'd be interesting to see here, but it does look like a two-tiered channel. So I actually kind of like that. And we've had this little channel down here, which is at a break and a new low. We've come back and retested again. So for me, I think there's a chance now we could move up. But after this overshoot, I wouldn't be considering longs until we got up above this and started moving in that direction. Okay, so we got this channel. We had a break. We had one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, and now we look like we're moving up. Let's see what happens here. 2 legs down. There is certainly a possibility of doing something like that. Who knows? Okay, so I mean, there is a possibility if this continues down that we could just extend this down a little bit. Maybe it's just slightly wider. In fact, hmm. In fact, that actually works without the overshoot. Well, yeah, let's say without the overshoot. That's where it would be, but I just... Let's see what happens here. So possible second entry long. I wouldn't even consider this if I wanted to. We're clearly in a downtrend at the moment until I see it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even consider trading the opposite direction. But what I'd like to see it do is to trigger and then start working its way down. And maybe we are continuing down. I don't know. I just have a feeling now it's time to move up. Excuse me a second. Okay, in the sky got dark. Here, thunder, I guess, spring here. Remind me where you are, Indy. The US, mind you, you guys. I was watching something live. Was it yesterday? Chasing a storm somewhere. I forget where it was. You guys are crazy. You American people are crazy chasing storms. Mind you, you get some incredible storms. We don't here. We get nothing here really. We get no storms. We get no earthquakes. We get no deadly spiders or snakes. Is this going down? There is a lower high here.
Order
It's a
filled.
bit more of a risk than I wanted, but leg up. Let's see. God, it looks massive, that gap. What's the risk? Two and a half points. Is it 2 3/4 points? It's just so bearish here, but I have got a feeling I may be in trouble here. But it is what it is. It's such a bearish day. See, we come down there. We've had 1, 2. You're in the trade as well. It just doesn't seem to want to come down. My only slight concern is we get a second entry long here. If we do and it triggers, I think we'll be okay. We're on the midline.
Order filled.
Probably okay. What am I in for? 0 3/4. That's okay. It's struggling on the midline here. Okay, I got in a couple of ticks lower than I wanted to. It might be okay. It's just struggling on the midline. Probably okay. Yeah, it would have been fine. That's fine. I got no issues with that. That 0 3/4 was it? Let's have a look. 0.5, 6 ticks. Okay, not as much as I would have liked, but that's okay. A win's a win. Or at least we're green. Cheers, Toad. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a lower high. we've had umpteen chances to push up there. We've closed below. We've got another stem and another stem. So this market just doesn't seem to want to stop. So we're clearly going down again. I got out of that. I mean, it worked fine, actually. I got out of it when it just started going a bit stagnant at the midline. It is a hard day today, I got to say. It's going to come down. Yeah, it probably is. Green is always good. Yeah, absolutely. Especially after yesterday. See, I lost a couple of ticks earlier. So at least I'm something up here, which is better than nothing. So my slight concern is that channel, but we've struggled to get to the top of it. Whether it is a channel or not, I don't know. I don't like how it fits, so it probably isn't really. Let's have a look. It just looks like a breakout of the top, doesn't it? And a lower high back to the bottom. In fact, if I wouldn't have done that channel there, I'd have probably stayed in there longer. I like to get out usually around about where these bottoms are here. So let's have a look. Yeah, probably could have got an extra couple of 3 ticks there. Let's have a look. I like to get out there, so an extra 3 ticks. It's all right. It's one of those things. My concern is because we've had so much down stuff and with this potential overshoot that we're just going to come down, bounce off the midline and rock it up. Trouble is, sometimes these bigger trend channels work when we get a pullback, so you don't know whether we're going to end up at this midline. You see what I mean? Touch. You don't know whether we're going to start to work up. So sometimes I just think, just get something if you're not sure. But see, I was struggling a little bit here. We did come down the end in the end, but that channel up there didn't do me any favours. So that's a breakout, isn't it? So we got a leg and a leg. Clearly lower high, and it worked like it was supposed to. So let's call that lower high. Lower high. It's plus 6 ticks. 1.5 points. 1.5 points. Bummer. Yeah, so it worked fine. I just don't like the way this is stalling here. Although that continued out, I'm quite glad I got out when I did. Not that it points, it's more of a fact that what I was seeing here was nice. You were in that as well. Yeah, I think it's a valid trade, isn't it? We had a breakout of this. You can clearly see the amount of support. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 touches on here. We came out once before. We rocketed down. We came out this time. We clearly rocketed down. So the trouble is, now if I'd have had maybe order flow and I'd have seen continued selling regardless of this little bit of stagnant area on the NQ, if I'd have seen strong sell orders come in, then I'd have held on there. And I got in a couple of ticks. Yeah, I got in way lower than I should have done, really. But I just liked it. Market moved quick. So tick below. Let's call that sort of. Let's call that. Oh, bollocks. Excuse my French. So tick below there. So that's what I got in. So I got in 2 ticks low, and I should. But I mean, look. I got in there, so look at that. I mean, 7 or 8 points. Once you start going here, even if you just put it there, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then here, I mean, look, there's 7 points there, and nearly 8 points. You could have just snapped that out. And that's sometimes why I think why order flow would be useful, because you would see that on order flow. You would see some strong sell orders coming in. When we get to the end of that bar, or the end of this bar, you can't see what's going to happen. But in order flow, you can. Sometimes it'll trigger and push up. But on order flow, you can. So that was a nice trade, that was. But but because there's some mixed feelings on here, I held back a bit there, but there was a nice amount of profit there, clearly, and inverted my X platform, very bullish. So it's just a fair break out the top, really, but at the time I had that channel, so well, but it's such a bearish day today, isn't it? I mean, we're down, what? I suppose we were due for it. We're down, what, 52 points? And all the flow, I look forward to. Yeah, I'm definitely going to. Trader Dale teaches it on, there's some videos, but I mean, if I'm going to take my 2 points there, if I see on order flow there's very strong selling, I mean, look at that, there's very strong selling, then I'll just hold. Or maybe, if I'd have put it at break even there, if I'd have put that at break even and followed the bars, so that bar, that bar, that bar, that bar, all the way down, I'd have got stopped out there. So by just putting it break even and following each bar down, so if I'd have got in there and got stopped out there, I mean, there's 9 3/4 points. That's, for me, if I could guarantee that every 2 weeks, or close 10 points every 2 weeks, I'd snap your hand off. So it's just a shame I only got, well, 6 ticks out of it, but it's a 1.5, isn't it? I'm not complaining about it. But, cheers, Speedy. But yeah, I think. But your trouble is, you don't know it's going to do that, do you? Just could come down the bottom, a little break out the bottom, and then turn down. But you know, that's the beauty about order flow. You would have a better idea of that was going to happen. But you know, this bar, you don't know what's going to happen with the next bar here. You can just go on what you see. That bar that's bearish, you know, it doesn't mean. I mean, look at that bar. That bar's really bullish. You're thinking, yeah, there's loads of buying. What happens? It triggers it, comes straight back down, stops it out. You can't see that on a chart, but with order flow, you would have a better idea that was going to happen. So I think with the lack of setups lately, then I suppose you've got to, you know, adapt a little bit. What order flow tool are you interested in? Use footprint. The one I'm aware of is it the Gominators, I think they're called. I know I've got a trader buddy, Marlon, who uses it. I think it's about $30 a month, I think, which it's a small price to pay, really, if you can get an extra tick out the market over on 5 accounts. That's more than pay for it. I think it's the Gominator, I think. Let me have a look. Dominators, yeah, that's it. Bookman one I can Bookman one can see big red balls. But yeah, I've had that on a few times, but I don't think it gives you as much information. Whether it does and I just haven't learned to read it, that's certainly plausible. So this is the one. Gominator. It looks kind of nice and clear, that, and it's for Ninja Trader. See, but I don't know what I did there. I mean, I don't fully understand it, but what I will say, yeah, basically footprint. Yeah, what I will say is, I don't even know how to describe it because I don't really know what I'm looking at. Obviously, there's buy and sell orders in here or whatever, but you know, if at the top there's strong buying orders, it's a good indication it may go. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, so I'm probably pissing in the wind a bit here, but what it does is it gives you an idea. So if I'm going long here, I'll have a better idea based on the orders coming in. If that makes any sense, whether to hold on. So in that case there, you know, holding on would have been a better option if it's looking very strong. But I got a tiny piece of that, really, and look what it would have got. It could have given me over a week's profit in one trade. So with the lack of you know, setups currently, or whether that's a thing, you know, a thing of the future or not, I don't know. I think it's useful to, you know, just to sort of learn a few new skills. But that looks pretty clear. You know, I get what's happening. The bars are the same, but you would obviously have this chart as well corresponding. But if I was thinking about going short there, I would be looking at this bar and thinking, yeah, this is looking like there's some strong aggressive selling coming in. So there we go. That's as little as I know, but I believe it's about $30 a month. So are we just continuing down? There's possibly a hidden second entry short there. We've made a new low. So I would prefer it to come down and have another go up before I think about short in there. It has triggered that. But it just, I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of this just at the moment. It may work. I prefer a lower high, really. Let's have a look at this. So we've come up to the top. We've had a push down. Lower high here may get me in for another leg down. May just continue down, I don't know, but it's just not coming down with any great urgency, so there is a big bullish bar off there, so if it can get below that, that's what concerns me. There's some strong buying off that. But whenever you think it can't come down anymore, it just continues on down. I'm assuming order flow is the same as footprint, I'm assuming, isn't it? Ah, Delta Scamper, there you are. Hiding in the background. How you doing, mate? I was talking about you. I think it's about time I started to learn this order flow. Gominator, yeah, or Gominator, yeah. The thing is, quick question, Marlon. If you were to take that trade there short, I just got a 1.5 out of that. I was unsure about this at the time, but would you have a better idea looking at the footprint or order flow that that was going to continue on down? I believe you would have done. I need a lower high here, really. I think somebody mentioned something about that. If you've got a lifetime license, which I have, but I don't think it's the same. I'm not sure. I don't think it's as good. I'm not sure. but I use Apex's license, so I don't know whether I can use my own license. I started looking at the NQ. My trading became much worse, really. It helps me. They do data series, type volumetric, super good, but it's all right. I use different platform for it. Yeah. Make a threshold withdrawal in 9 trades. You could trade micros on that last day. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. What was I saying? If you make the PA threshold withdrawal in 9 days, can you trade micro? I think that is unadvisable. What you could probably do is there's nothing that says you can't get into a trade and come out for break even, if you know what I'm saying. So you've technically taken a trade, but you've gone out for break even. What you could do is just reduce it to one contract. I don't think they're like doing that. But I think it's just one of those things. What I would probably tend to do is maybe just enter for one contract and put 2 ticks either way. If you can stand to just lose that, if you enter on one contract, there's $4 fees. If you put 1 or 2 ticks, like say 2 ticks either way, that's $25 and 4. You'll lose or make $30. You don't have to answer this. How much do you make off Apex referrals? How much? I get 15% commissions. So if you take one, let's say, I think, okay. So if you at the moment it's about $45. So I get about $6, something like that, off a commission. So it's all right. It covers your trade. It covers me trading for sure. What was it all about? If you make a PA, yeah, baby squid. What I would tend to do, now it's up to you, of course, but if you got into a trade, yes, you can. According to the flipping rule, you cannot be more than 20% of your total trading days. Okay, well, there's your answer then. If you trade it on a micro, and then see what happens, they can only say no, in which case you'll have to trade another day. So it's not the end of the world, but it's only one day, isn't it? If you got a massive amount in one day and then trading micros for the rest of the day, I don't think I would be too concerned. I don't want to say yes because I don't want you to expect your money in that, but worst comes to worst, if you're like $2,800, maybe you trade one contract and have a 2-tick stop and a 2-tick profit. So the worst you're going to lose with fees is $30. So are we getting 2 attempts high now? I'm going to get lower there. Bye Money tries to pretend like he only makes money off YouTube subs. I have no problem with him making money, but being dishonest and telling people to risk accounts during the news. Yeah. I lost tons of accounts before the promo ends. Half a chat asking for a second entry is wrong. Yeah. I've always been adamant that if you're newish to trading, never use more than one. I've said it many times. Never use more than one evaluation or PA account until you can. Purely and simply because I've done it myself so many times. But yeah, I've said it before. My honest opinion is, if you're still new to it and you're still blowing accounts, why blow 5 evaluations in one go? Now, if you're an experienced trader and you can hold them, I get taking more in one go. I had to call him out, or the YouTubers. 1 in 10 subs, making a few $100s a month on Apex affiliates. Yeah. I used to watch him a little bit. I tend to not now because I don't understand how he trades, really. So whether it is just more YouTube he does, I don't know. Trade groups made up of 3 evals. Yeah, if see at the moment I'm managing to hold PAs, so I agree that when you can start to get payouts and hold accounts, then maybe get a few more. But while you're sort of new, I would never get up until I think I had my first payout. I only ever traded 1 evaluation. It just doesn't make sense to blow so many accounts in one go, because you're just throwing your money away. It's in a lot of work, so no problem with him making money. Yeah, I got nothing against him. I started watching him initially when not long after I started trading, but I don't understand his strategy or how he works it out. But he's a nice enough fella. Young Moo seems to have disappeared. I thought he was a nice guy. The young fella, Moo Trades, he seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know. I've not heard sight and sound from him. Whether he's sort of traded in the background or not, I don't know. And Watts, it seems to have had a better day recently, doesn't he? Alpine Trade, he is making a ton of money. I know he had that bad day of 25,000 loss to the likes of me and most of you guys. It'd be devastating. I think I'll be throwing myself off the nearest bridge. But if he's made $40,000-$50,000 in a month, then it's not at all. I think he said he'll only get he won't show you. He trades the open somehow, but he won't show you. He believes that Apex will stop him doing it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you can trade the market to make that much money regularly, you're good at what you do. I can't see how someone's strategy, unless it was, how can you, we all have different strategies. If it works again and again and again, then it's a good strategy. It doesn't matter when you trade the open or whatever. He doesn't trade the news. There's nothing that says you can't trade the open. What's the open? He's got for buy. So I don't know what he does, but I know he's making a ton of money. And good luck to him. I love hearing stories about people making a ton of money. Are we starting to do that a little bit now? You were asking a minute ago, footprints. Yeah, are just order flow tools. So footprint and order flow is exactly the same thing, isn't it? There are many other, such as depth of market. I've heard that book map I've used a little bit. Probably didn't understand it as much as I should have done. Time and sales, footprint, volume. Okay, so question. That trade I took there, I took it for... Now, normally I go for around about 2 points. I noticed this here, after we've had a break of this, it was stalling. I usually use this as like a second opinion. So if I'm not reading the market right, or I'm trading in the wrong direction or making a mistake, this just helps me. It's like another opinion, a second opinion. We were struggling a little bit there on that midline, and my concern was we may have a break here. So I came out for 1.5 points. Now, if I'd have had order flow or footprint, would I have had a better idea and the ability to hold on to that trade? Would I be able to see those orders coming in to push that down? Because if you notice, when we came down the bottom, we started to lose a bit of volume, and all of a sudden it dropped. So would I have had a better idea that that was going to happen if I was looking at an order flow or a footprint chart at that particular point in time? I come here and see you make tons of it. I'm still waiting. you and me both, mate. You and me both. I had well, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit embarrassing, really, but there we go. It's a start. I made $10,000 last year, which in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount. But I developed more as a trader. My skills are better. I still had that issue with not accepting losses very well, but I seem to be in a better place now. I'm not doing stupid things that I was doing that would get me into those emotional areas. I tend to now wait for a setup. In theory, it's simple. You wait for a good setup, you take it, commit, and that's it, you move on. But so many times when I got multiple accounts, I would go, I'll just trade one account now. I might just go long here. It looks like it's going to shoot up. Let's just double up. And I'd end up getting stung and lose the account. So then I'd blow another account by doing stupid, silly little gambling things. Just immaturity. And I just decided I'd had enough of it. So I just thought, all I can do now, the only way to do this really, and it's simple really, you sit here, you take a trade when you see a good setup, nothing more, nothing less. And so far, I am having a lot less stress. I'm sleeping better. I'm not as angry and as frustrated. So I think I might have finally tipped the seesaw in my favour. But it's easy to say that sometimes when things are going well. But I feel much calmer. And I'm not doing stupid things. And it was always those stupid things. I just identified my trigger. Taking silly risks just to try and get a few extra points and try to, build the account quite quick instead of just doing it slowly. So hopefully this year, well, I'm sure this year will be better. I've had these accounts a while now, and they're not too bad at the moment. It's been slow going, but my 5 accounts at the moment, I've got 2 just under $1,500, 1 at $1,000, and 2 around about the $600. So they're growing nicely. I'm trading 2 of them on 2 contracts and the other 3 on 1 contract. So I'm growing the 2 just a little bit quicker to get to payment level and letting the others a bit more steady. So if you trade everything at 2 points and you get a rather large loss, it can hit you a bit. So I'm just sort of edging me bets a little bit. But it'll be a better year, Laughter, this will be for me. How much of payout you had done this year? Nothing this year. Last year I had $10,000 in payments. So I had 5 $2,000 payments. We'll back up to this top again now. See, look where we are on here. If we can get a lower high here, so we're hitting this area again. There are definitely some good signs to saying your trade's good. My candle at 11:31 showed high volume and failed to break out. Our candles prior to that selling balances. So, okay. I know people swear by them, and they obviously do it for a reason. So, see, I'm noted. I was chatting with Daniel, who's one of the more experienced traders in the sort of, the price action Max that learned from Mac. He makes a lot of money, and he's good at what he does. And I was chatting with him on Messenger a few nights ago, and he said I think he said he was doing an average of 5 trades a week, so 1 a day. And he commented on, during lockdown, the extra volatility. There were so many more setups. And when I started this nearly 3 years ago, trading this style, there was so many, there was an average of 3 trades a day, sometimes maybe a little bit less, sometimes quite a few more. And it's hard to spot a really good trade. That one, I think, was an okay trade, that one. We're clearly going sideways. We broke out, pulled down quickly, broke out, pulled down quickly. So failing that, there's not a lot I could see. and the same yesterday. I looked back yesterday, and there was one about an hour before the market officially opened, but it was a 5-point bar. So even if I was at my chart, I wouldn't have taken it. It's just too much risk. So it's struggling to get setups. Well, I am looking at the 1500 and 1000 tick chart just to see if the more detail. I mean, when we came down here, sometimes more detail may give you a lower high, but we didn't have one there, so I couldn't take it. So I'm just trying to, learn a few extra skills and just keep my eyes open. And 10 months more left to this year. Tick-tock, yeah. So yeah. So hopefully, hello Sam, how you doing, mate? How are you getting on today, mate? So when did you get your payment? Is it the 15th, isn't it? And have you spent it yet? I think my wife had most of my first one. Good on you, mate. Just the one trade. Yeah, that's all I've done. Was it that one by any chance? That lower high? I got a bit carried there and got out just a little bit less. But yeah, got approved yesterday. That's it. It's in the bag now. It is nice to get your first payment. It's just unfortunate my account just got hammered after that. But yeah, it's nice. It is the start. It is. You struggle. When you get your first payment, you'll struggle maybe for a couple of months after, and then you probably get another one, and then you may get two, and then it's a slow grind up then. But at least now you're aiming in the right direction. So good on you, mate. I love hearing about people doing well, because I know what a tough business is, and if you can make money at this business, you're doing well. So I got respect for anybody who's a trader. In fact, I got more respect for retail traders than professional traders. When I say professional, I mean people who work for investment banks, because they've been taken on board. They've been given a wage. They've been given all the correct trading and the correct support and all the knowledge, and we've just had to figure most of it out ourselves. So I got more respect for people who've learnt from a computer in their own home, because it's damn well harder. I still haven't broken even yet, but I'm not far away. So are we now finally getting a move up? We've had this bit of a break. We've had 1, 2, 3 bounces off here. So I think there's a possibility that we may get some of the upwards stuff, because it's been really bearish all day. Yeah, I got into a trade earlier. Where was it? It was here, triple test. We'd had that leg down. I got in. I think that bar there, it wasn't quite as bearish as I thought, but I thought we'd gone once, twice, 3 times. It didn't quite close as well as I hoped. I got a bit excited and jumped in there. And when it came back, I thought I've got trapped in. I got in for break even, then it tanked, unfortunately. But you can see it's clearly finding support there. So it did what it was supposed to, but I got out for break even. I ended up getting a tick of slippage. One of them I didn't. But on the other 4 I did. But that's by the by, isn't it? But there's a fair amount of volume today. Purely and simply because it's quite bearish. I'm assuming it's traders adding to the positions as it's going down, but what kind of trading institutionals do? They use price action, order flow. You're asking me. I think institutions tend to use more order flow, but I do see them. I tend to see them with order flow, but with a candle chart as well, just giving you more of a visual thing. That's my understanding. Strange feeling. I thought I'd be elated. Felt a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it does take it out of you, mate, doesn't it? It does. I think the best thing you did, mate, was take a break. Look what happened. You take a break, you come back, you make some money. So I will say I haven't really taken a break in about 3.5 years, more than a couple of days. But this year I took 11 days off throughout Christmas, and I came back feeling fresh as a daisy. And my attitude towards trading has changed since I've had that break. I feel more relaxed. I'm not frustrated, because when you're frustrated and angry all the time, you want to battle with the market. And you keep doing stupid things and throwing money, but at some point you have to just let it go. And I think the break helped me to do that, just release some of that sort of frustration. It is like being in the middle of a bad marriage. You're just constantly frigging angry. And when you trade the market angry, you take stupid trades. So that one worked beautifully. Unfortunately, I got a bit of a coward all the way through. So let's just zoom out and have a look at that. So actually, it's from yesterday's high, that channel, and I liked it because we sort of had a two-tiered channel. We had a push up with the news, then a break new high, and then down it came, worked back into this channel, but you can see it working there, and then we started to go a bit sideways with a drop and a retest. I'm just wondering whether this now is a relatively big break. But what I will say is we're back up to the top of this range and already giving bearish signals, so there is a lower high there, so let's see what happens there. I would suggest that is a channel there with a break, new high, possible lower high here. That's a lower high there is triggered, but it's starting to push up, so maybe this is this finally push up that may happen. But yeah, I'm going away for a few nights at the end of the month for a proper break. Submit first part this year. Good on you. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, there is a lower high there. I'm not taking it at the moment because I'm not a massive fan of what I'm seeing here. There is a lower high there which is triggered. But I don't know. There's something about this I'm not a massive fan of. So that lower high for me, I'm just happy to let go. Let me just have a look at this. This isn't pushing down as strongly as I thought it might do. There's a big strong buy in there, and we came down there and it didn't touch them stops. So for me, I think there's a chance we could break up here. So I'm not taking that. There's also a second entry long, but I'm not ready to go long either. If I was trading evaluation, I'd have a go at that, but I I'm not sure about this whole price today. It's acting a bit weird, and it's not very clear. What's your response to people saying that trading isn't possible? I get to it. Clearly is possible, yeah. It's difficult, what I will say. Yeah, I start to leave there. Yeah, I've asked myself that question so many times, and what I'll say is I've blown a little over 350 evaluations. That is a lot of failure, and I can't think of any job I've ever done where there's that much failure in learning to do something. So I get why a lot of people think it can't be done, but it is very difficult. And I think it's mainly because it does take so long to learn how to trade. I think people think, they do 12 months, they should be able to make some money. And that's why there's a big failure rate. I think, isn't it something like 95% of people will never make it as a trader? I don't think it's they won't make it as a trader. I think it's because they give up. Maybe a Head and Shoulders, maybe. I think they give up because it is hard and it absolutely batters you emotionally. And I can tell you something, I've been with my wife for 30 years. She's seen me with tears in my eyes 3 times. Once when my daughter was born, once a little bit when my mum passed away just over a year ago, and once when I blew 4 accounts before Christmas. I felt broken. I considered giving it up. I felt horrible. I went through stages of feeling frustrated, angry. I know it's affected me mood. And I know my family's noticed that. My wife said she used to dread me coming down after a trading day. But, I seem to have continued and pushed and kept trying and kept trying. Excuse me a sec. You've got to get it out of your system. You've got to get all that frustration. You can't trade frustrated and angry. Unfortunately, when you're learning to trade, you spend a lot of your time feeling like that, and it just goes against you. But I've noticed my trading skills are getting better because I'm not getting trapped as much, and I'm staying out of trades that look like a trap to me, and they turn into a trap. So I'm confident now that I'm in a better place to trade, and it has taken me nearly 3 years trading pats to get to a place where I'm starting to feel like I'm making some progress. I'm a lot more confident in reading the charts, and 3 years is a long time. I spent a lot of hours at the charts and reading books and stuff. So it does take a lot of time, a lot of commitment, and you've almost got to be a little bit of obsessive compulsive to be able to put up with this shit again and again. So I get why people think it's near impossible. Okay, so if you took that lower high, I'd be amazed if that doesn't get stopped out, which is another reason why I didn't take it. I don't like what I'm seeing. The pictures just doesn't look... look at this. We've pushed up and now I'm a second entry long. We've reacted strong off there. I think it's time we have a break here. Of course, it could trigger above that and come rocketing down, but I just have a feeling now this looks like it's bottoming, so I think it may be a little bit exhausted. So that stops. So if you took that lower high, you just got shafted, or even the failure never triggered actually. But so lots of times now that I would have taken these, I don't now, and it saves me from taking a loss. So it's about finding good entries. It's also about staying out of bad ones. So this now looks like there's going to be some stops there. I don't doubt it. Look at this. If it gets above those 2 bars there, I can see a real strong push up. Because there's bound to be some stops there with all this sideways stuff. Big bearish bar there, big bearish lower high there. I expect that to have a quick push in a minute. It may be above here. Yeah, there's just so much failing to go through, and it does make you wonder, can this really be done? I get why people ask it. But what I will say is I understand price action. It doesn't lie. Why I've struggled so long is because I've taken crap trades out of inexperience. But now I understand how price action works. if a trade didn't work, I can tell you why. There's always a reason for it. I think price action is incredibly accurate when you get to understand it a little bit. And when you take good setups, really good setups just do not fail. I'm yet to see a good quality setup fail. They just always seem to work. Okay. So a little spike there. I can see that pushing up a little bit more, a bit quicker as well. It's been such a bearish day, and this, funny smell in here. Yeah, there is so many scammers out there, you just don't know who's who, do you? So, are we finally getting some movement to the upside? Let's have a look. So, it's moving up there quite confidently now. I think it is bottoming. I did think there may have been an overshoot there. So, if I looked at this channel, that's where I took it from there. There's 3 nice touches there, and it looks like a bit of an overshoot, then sideways, then up. We're not out of the woods yet. There is... It's definitely been hard the last couple of days. I think that was a nice trade. That was the other trade of the day as well, which I didn't take. But I think it was a really nice one. Where was it? We had a failed breakout of a little range. I didn't take it, but it was really nice. Where was it? That one there. Was it that one? No, that one there, sorry. That was a nice trade, that was. So. There. I really like that one. I just was looking at the what's it at the time, wasn't sure. So we got a nice channel down. We had a push up. We had that failed breakout of there. Nice bearish bar. What I like about it as well is when we had a breakout of it, we had a big strong bullish bar, and it triggered by one tick and started coming down. So basically it's a second entry short really on a bigger picture, isn't it? 1 leg up, 2 legs up. And obviously there was a bunch of traders got in that and sold because the price just came down really quickly. So we had 3 big bearish bars. So that was a nice trade, that was. I was just a bit mixed feelings about what I was looking at on this as well, because it's a funny old day today, but that was a nice trade today. So that one and that one both comfortably making more than 2 points, getting back to here. So perhaps it wasn't as bad a day as I think. That was a nice setup. That was definitely a nice setup. So maybe it's just not too bad. 2 good setups. Well, I'm done. Good luck to everyone. Treat yourself to a nice haggis to celebrate. Get yourself a nice bottle, expensive bottle of scotch, mate. I said I'm buying a bottle of 18-year-old, £175, 18-year-old, what's it called? Balvenie, when I have my first $10,000 month. That's what I'm treating myself to. Nice expensive bottle of scotch. Hopefully, first $10,000 month. Hopefully it's going to be in with this first 6 months, and then hopefully maybe another couple of 3 more of them throughout the latter part. So, what time is it? Okay, not far off now. Let's have a look. So at least I've had something today. It's just a shame about that trade. I got out for break even. I got a bit of slippage. But there you go. Maybe there is a bigger channel here. Yes, I like that. So, excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. 15-year-old daughter coming in. Where's mum? Let's just check I'm not missing anything. So maybe this is this. It does look like it's bottoming. There's a bit of an overshoot there. I'm pretty sure of it. And we've pushed up. We bounced once, twice, three times, and now we seem to be pushing up. So I like the fact that we've pushed above this and bounced off it. So I think I'd like to see a break here, and then maybe a slightly wider channel, maybe something along the lines of that. And if we can, then I may consider that it might be okay to go long. Something like that, anyway. Okay. What to do? What to do? Yeah, certainly some of us, Sam. We're not coming down again, are we? Surely. I wonder. Channel break. 2 legs back. New high. Gone slow, isn't it now? When is it? Lunchtime in the US, is it? Don't people take packed lunches to work anymore? So let's see if we manage to hold above here. Let me just try and inch that up, see if we go on here. Look there. You just ate breakfast. It might do your job if I make a mistake. My calculation advise us. Yeah. You see you giving that up, Sam? Once you start making enough money? Is that the plan, is it? Something nice in the UK about not having to get out of bed till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, isn't it? Just wondering whether that is maybe a little bit of a spike in the chart. Let's have a look. Not sure, I'll probably stay until I end up made redundant. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if just as you started making a ton of money, they asked anyone for voluntary redundancies and they give you a big fat payout as well? That would be nice. That would be nice, wouldn't it? You're not that lucky, mate. It's just to get the timing just right. It'll happen. It'll happen. As long as you stick at this, you'll keep improving. You'll get better. Your nerve and emotions will get more and more in check. The reason there's such a high failure rate is because people give up. They just can't put up with it, and I absolutely get it. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do by a mile. And I get why people give up. It can be crippling. Emotionally crippling, it really can. Right, what are we doing now? Are we going to push down again, or are we going to actually finally get out this time? I'm not sure about this. Goes against 7. Yeah, absolutely it does, yeah. No one likes to lose money, do they? Yeah, it's your natural instinct, isn't it, to just snap back, isn't it? I want it back. Not only want it back, I want it back now. I'm not prepared to wait for it. What I've found is if you're getting 4, 5, 6 winning trades in a row, your confidence level is right up there. As soon as you get a loss, it can just knock you back down. I'm assuming with time and obviously consistency, it won't bother you as much because you know you can trade. Because it's so hard and there's so many failures, it is hard to get to that confidence level. You think, I can do this now. You know, I've made consistency, but until you make consistent money over, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months or whatever, even 6 months I'll be happy with. If I can trade nicely, not do anything stupid and consistently take money every month, I'd say there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be able to continue to do it. But you've still always got to be on your game. It doesn't matter how good a trader you are. It doesn't mean the market's going to give you easier setups. You've still got to keep on the ball. But once you've done it for a certain amount of time, then you'll start to believe then that, yeah, I can do this. £2,000 to your account. What are you going to spend on, mate? Don't tell me. Evaluations. I think it's good to put some in your pocket and then maybe invest a little bit more. Maybe invest a few $100s or something. And then just enjoy some of it. You've got to treat yourself to something. Okay, there is a lower high there, but I don't like it. The body's way too far from the EMA. It may come down here, but what I will say is we've pushed up and bounced. We've pushed up and back. So it may come down here, but we've had 3 major bounces off the bottom and a strong bullish bar. So I just have a feeling we may get out of this stuff. So I'm not getting involved at the moment. And not only that, it's a big overshoot that we're really all down the bottom anyway. So I can't take that now anyway, even if I wanted to. I mean, it could come clearing down, but you don't know that. Yeah. It does take time. I mean, earning this sort of money, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. But I kind of like the fact that it is hard, because when you get consistent and you get some member of your family who's never taken an interest before that you don't particularly like, and they go, show me how to do it, you can have a little laugh to yourself and go, yeah, right, and dream on. If only you know what I've been through. You know, people will say, oh, I don't know what you're doing. They'll say, I don't think you're doing this, you don't think you're doing that. And then when you start making money, all of a sudden everyone takes an interest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the future I'm going to get, show me how to do it. Can't I just copy you? No, you can't. That's not the way it works. I've not worked my ass off to have the stress of you sat near me. My family know, but I don't talk about it with them really. I talk about my brother-in-law because he's interested. But anybody else, it rarely comes up. Mind you, since I started trading, I rarely get out of the house, to be honest with you. But I'm going to make an effort to get out regularly to go and have a night out. I rarely go out for a beer with mates anymore. Couple of times a year, if that. I got to start getting out once a month. I have. My whole life's just evolved around trading, everything I ever think about. But I am starting to sort of get a little bit of separation there. I'm trying to forget it weekends. The trouble is I hate weekends because I can't wait for it to get round to Monday, but I am trying to make a point of doing something at the weekend to get out and about. But it is hard not to think of trading. Especially when you start to feel like you're making some progress, you just want those days to mount up. I might knock it on the head there, actually. I don't know what's going on here. Is it going to come down? It may do. It's not the easiest day to trade. There has been a couple of setups. The lower high there I liked, and that one, unfortunately, I had my eyes on other things at the time and didn't pay much attention, but I think that was a lovely fell breakout. And the way, often when you can spot these, look how well that worked. Boom, 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 three bars, and we're down like 5-6 points, whatever it was. So if you'd have got in there, yeah, I mean, straight down. Yeah, you too, bud. You too, mate. Yeah, I'm knock on the head there. I'm up a bit today. Did I take got out for break even and I got out some 0.5 up. I got a bit of slippage, so but there you go. 0.5's a 0.5. It's not been an easy couple of days actually. Shame about that one, but there you go. Sometimes some you win, some you lose, but it's hard going at the moment. This could continue down to the bottom and could continue lower, or it could bounce up. It's hard to say really. So that's it for me today. Another day done. 6th of March tomorrow. The months are flying by. but it is lovely in the UK where I am this morning. Beautiful sunshine, nice and warm. Took a trip out to the shops. I stepped outside my front door and a wall of sunshine at me. It was lovely. So we're aiming in the right direction now. So I've got a weekend away at the end of the month, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's it for me. In fact, I'm just going to sit here just for a minute. We're going to break out of this channel. Let's just see if we see what happens a minute. You know, are we going to get something like that? That's what I'm thinking. Trouble is, if you end up going along here and it comes down, you're kind of screwing at you because it's been a really bearish market, but it does seem to be stalling. But we've got the same thing here after coming back into this range. So it could come down. This looks like it's going up. I thought it might do off that, but I'm not a fan of this. Okay, that's me. I mean, it's gone anyway. If we'd have got a high low, then I may have had a crack, but we're done. So that's it for today. I appreciate all the comments. I hope you've got a bit of green. I think a few people took that lower high there, which worked out really nicely, actually. It's just a shame I was a bit more of a coward not to stay in a bit longer, but there you go. So, really strong bearish day today. So let's see if it continues. So that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate all the comments. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. A good setup comes your way. Failing that, I will see you guys same time tomorrow. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll chat again tomorrow. Bye for now.